Imagine waking up one day to find that the technology guiding your planes, ships, cars, and even your phones might no longer work. Not because of a glitch, but because another country decides to turn it off. This is exactly the scenario unfolding in Iran. Recently, Iran announced a bold, unprecedented move: a systematic migration of all its critical navigation and positioning services, from the US-controlled GPS system to China's BU satellite network. We're not talking about just a few gadgets here. Every key sector is on the move: domestic transportation, agriculture, military operations, and even the Internet of Things. Essentially, Iran is planning to shift the backbone of its nation off a system controlled by the United States and fully onto one managed by China. And here's the kicker: they're not just switching. Iran intends to completely shut down GPS signal reception within its borders. This raises huge questions. Why make such a dramatic shift now? Can China's BEU system really replace GPS, a technology that has guided the world for decades? And what does this mean for Iran's security, sovereignty, and global power dynamics? Today, we're going to take you on a journey that isn't just about satellites or navigation. It's a story about technology, independence, and the high-stakes chess game of global geopolitics. By the end, you'll understand why Iran's move isn't just a technical upgrade. It's a strategic gamble with potentially world-altering consequences. To understand why Iran's move is so dramatic, we need to look at GPS, not just as a tool in your phone, but as a lifeline for the modern world. GPS, or Global Positioning System, was born in the Cold War era, when the United States and the Soviet Union were racing for military superiority. By the 1970s, the U.S. had launched a network of 24 satellites carefully positioned in orbit to cover almost the entire planet. These satellites didn't just tell you where you were. They provided precise measurements of speed, time, and location, essential for everything from missile guidance to everyday logistics. Today, GPS is everywhere. Railways, airlines, and shipping routes depend on it to run on schedule. Financial markets rely on its timing signals for high-speed trading. Disaster response teams use GPS to track storms and earthquakes. Even sporting events and environmental research depend on this invisible system. Essentially, the modern world runs on GPS, and over 6 billion devices worldwide rely on it. But here's the problem. All this power sits in the hands of one country, the United States. While we take it for granted, any nation using GPS is vulnerable to political or military pressure. The U.S. can disrupt signals, shut down access, or jam communications, instantly blinding planes, missiles, or even critical infrastructure. During conflicts, such disruptions aren't hypothetical. They've happened. Missiles can miss targets, ships can drift off course, and financial systems can experience timing errors that ripple through entire economies. For countries like Iran and China, relying on GPS isn't just inconvenient. It's risky. Every sector from military defense to agriculture becomes dependent on the goodwill of another nation. It's like building your house on someone else's land. If they decide to pull the rug out, your foundation collapses. Iran has experienced this vulnerability firsthand, and the lesson is clear. Control over navigation technology is control over national security. China's journey to create its own navigation system didn't start as a matter of ambition. It started as a matter of survival. In 1993, a routine maritime mission turned into a crisis. A Chinese merchant ship was sailing toward Iran when the U.S. suddenly cut off its GPS signal. The ship drifted helplessly in open waters for 33 days, facing storms, running low on supplies, and unable to navigate safely. This shocking event showed China a harsh truth. Relying on a foreign-controlled system for navigation meant putting its people, trade, and national security at the mercy of another country. From that moment, China decided it had to take control. They launched the BEU project, a satellite navigation system entirely independent of U.S. or Western oversight. But the road was anything but smooth. In the early 1990s, China's technological capabilities were limited, and Western countries blocked the export of critical satellite and high-tech components. Every step forward required ingenuity and persistence. By 2003, after a decade of intensive research and testing, China successfully launched its first 5 geostationary satellites, creating the initial framework of the BEU network. In 2007, the first regional network covering the Asia-Pacific was completed, giving China the ability to provide accurate navigation services to its region without relying on GPS. By 2012, the network had expanded to cover the entire Asia-Pacific. The creation of BEU wasn't just a technological project, it was a strategic decision rooted in national security. China was no longer willing to depend on systems controlled by other powers, and BEU was its insurance policy, a way to safeguard trade, protect its military, and ensure its sovereignty in an increasingly connected and competitive world. Now that we understand why China built BEU, the next question is, how does it actually compare to the US-controlled GPS system? After all, replacing GPS isn't just about politics, it's about technology, precision, and reliability. Let's start with scale. The BEU system now has over 50 satellites in orbit, nearly double the number of GPS satellites, and it operates 10 times more global monitoring stations. More satellites means stronger coverage, better signal reliability, and fewer blind spots, especially in challenging environments. Accuracy is another area where BEU shines. While GPS typically gives positioning accuracy within 5 to 10 meters, BEU can pinpoint a location down to the centimeter level, with timing precision of just 20 nanoseconds. Imagine trying to land a drone in a dense city. GPS might get you close, but BEU can guide you right to the doorstep. In mountainous or forested regions where GPS signals often get blocked, BEU maintains reliable positioning thanks to its advanced anti-jamming capabilities. BEU also offers unique features GPS doesn't have. Its short message communication system allows devices to send location information and even short text messages without any internet connection, a lifesaver for remote areas or emergency situations. The system isn't just civilian-friendly, it has proven military applications. Pakistan, for example, uses BEU for precise targeting even under electronic interference from adversaries. Missiles hit targets accurately, drones navigate safely, and military operations stay coordinated, proving BEU's resilience in real-world conflict scenarios. The takeaway? BEU is not a simple copy of GPS. It's a fully independent, highly accurate, and globally capable navigation system, one that can operate even where GPS struggles or fails. This sets up why Iran sees BEU as a viable alternative and why the shift away from GPS is now possible. With BEU now proven as a reliable alternative to GPS, the question becomes, why is Iran making this move right now? The answer lies in experience, risk, and harsh lessons learned over decades. Iran has faced repeated vulnerabilities in its reliance on the US-controlled GPS system. For example, during the 12-day military conflict with Israel, Iranian forces experienced navigation system failures at critical moments. Drones lost their way mid-air, missiles veered off course, and entire operational plans were disrupted. In high-stakes scenarios, seconds matter, and without reliable navigation, Iran's military effectiveness was severely compromised. It's not just the battlefield. Over the past few years, Iran has suffered the assassinations of nuclear scientists and senior military commanders, where GPS-enabled devices were traced as the common link. Simply carrying a GPS-enabled phone or tracker put lives at risk. These incidents highlighted a stark truth. Depending on Western-controlled technology is a direct threat to national security. Iran's leadership realized that continuing to rely on US GPS meant placing the nation's military, civilian infrastructure, and people at the mercy of a foreign power. The decision to switch to BU is therefore not just a technological upgrade, but a strategic move to secure autonomy over navigation, communications, and the ability to operate without external interference. This is a turning point. The shift from GPS to BEU reflects Iran's understanding that technological dependence can become a geopolitical vulnerability, and that independence in critical infrastructure is essential for both security and sovereignty. Iran's move to BEU isn't happening in isolation. It's backed by a deep strategic partnership with China, which provides both the technical and political confidence for such a bold shift. First, consider the economic ties. China is Iran's largest oil buyer, accounting for nearly 90% of its exports. This makes China not just a trade partner, but a pillar of economic stability for Iran, ensuring that cooperation in sensitive areas like navigation won't be disrupted. In 2021, the two countries signed a 25-year strategic cooperation agreement, planning up to $400 billion in investments across energy, infrastructure, finance, transportation, and healthcare. Think of it as a long-term shield. China has a vested interest in Iran's stability and technological independence. Unlike the US, which could cut off GPS access at any time, China has no incentive to restrict BU services. Beyond economics, there's a regional and technological precedent. Saudi Arabia has already phased out GPS in ports, fully adopting BU equipment, and in the UAE, hundreds of fishing vessels now rely on BU terminals. In Africa, over 30 countries have set up BU monitoring stations, forming a robust network of support and reliability. This partnership is more than just infrastructure, it's trust, security, and strategic alignment. For Iran, this backing means that moving off GPS isn't a gamble. It's a calculated, supported decision that strengthens national autonomy while reinforcing a long-term alliance with China. BU is no longer just China's tool, it's rapidly becoming a global navigation powerhouse, and Iran's adoption signals a broader shift in how countries view technology independence. To grasp the scale, over 137 countries and regions are now connected to BU, with more than 1.5 billion users relying on its services. That's not just mobile phones and cars. BEU touches military, transportation, agriculture, finance, and emergency systems worldwide. Its adoption has already generated cumulative economic benefits exceeding $530 billion, proving that it's not only strategic but economically valuable. Technologically, BEU's advantages make it resilient in scenarios where GPS struggles. In mountains, dense jungles, or areas with deliberate interference, BEU maintains centimeter-level accuracy and reliable timing. Its short message communication feature even allows devices to send location information without internet access, a critical feature for regions with weak infrastructure or during conflicts. From a geopolitical perspective, this expansion challenges GPS's long-standing dominance. Countries are realizing that relying on a single foreign-controlled system creates vulnerability. BEU's growth shows a future where navigation independence is becoming a strategic imperative, especially for nations facing potential conflicts or economic pressure from the US. The strategic lesson is clear. Global influence is increasingly tied to control over technology. BEU is not just a navigation system. It's a tool reshaping alliances, regional security, and international economics. Iran's move is one step in a much larger story of technological sovereignty. So, what does all of this mean? Iran's decision to shift from US GPS to China's BEU system is far more than a simple technology swap. It's a bold statement about national security, independence, and long-term strategic thinking. By moving to BEU, Iran is protecting its military, its infrastructure, and its people from vulnerabilities that come with relying on a foreign-controlled system. This story also highlights the power of vision and perseverance. China didn't build BEU overnight. It took decades of innovation, overcoming technological barriers, and consistent investment in satellites, infrastructure, and global partnerships. The result is a system that not only rivals GPS but offers features and resilience GPS struggles to match. The broader lesson is clear for all nations. In today's world, control over critical technology is as important as military strength or economic power. Countries are increasingly recognizing that dependency on foreign systems, whether for navigation, communication, or energy, can be a major vulnerability. BEU's expansion shows a future where technological autonomy is a cornerstone of geopolitical strategy. And here's where you come in. The story of BU and Iran is just one chapter in the rapidly evolving global tech landscape. If you want to stay updated on how technology, geopolitics, and innovation are reshaping the world, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. You'll get insider insights into the developments that are quietly shaping our future. This isn't just about satellites in orbit, it's about who controls the world's invisible infrastructure, and that ultimately could decide the next generation of global power.